Welcome traders to Elite Currency video on the euro dollar and pound dollar. Yesterday we had the interest rate hike on the dollar from 1.7 to 2%. How will that impact the dollar? Let's take a look. All right, this is the euro dollar daily chart, and as expected, price did stop at around 118.50, which is the 21 EMA zone, and we're using a different template at this moment, but it's also the 38.2 fib, as you can see, and resistance level. Now, price, however, has gone sideways, and we see that the bullish momentum is still intact because the HMA is still up, and yesterday, despite the dollar rate hike, we had a bullish candle. So I think that it is starting to look like a bull flag, and the 21 EMA might break. Let's take a look at where that 21 EMA is. Let me use the other template here, and you can see that price respects the 21 EMA as expected, and I thought that the price would bounce away from it, but not so sure if we will get that bounce to the downside considering the current price action. So let's go back to the previous template, and you can see that if we zoom into a 4-hour chart, there we go, it is making a bull flag pattern. All right, if we use a line chart, you can see the price is closing above it, perhaps right now. So that could be a bullish breakout on the euro dollar. A bull flag pattern like this could break to the upside, and we could see a bigger correction higher, maybe towards that 50 fib we mentioned at around 120. All right, so let's go back to the daily chart and put that fib back on like this. And the max retracement I would expect for wave 4 is that 50 fib around 119.60. But honestly, with a break above the 38.2 fib, it might not be a wave 4 at all. All right, so this particular outlook is becoming less likely. In fact, what could become a bit more likely at this moment, if we get that break to the upside, is the fact that this could be just an A, B, C correction, although wave C is pretty extended, therefore we thought it was a wave 3, and we might get an A, B, C back to the upside. So it's going to be very interesting to see how price responds to 120. It could be the very last level where we'd expect a wave 4 to occur, and that could still be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a bigger wave A. That is also still on the table, so it's kind of like 50-50, I think. Maybe the wave 4 slightly more still, but definitely a lot less than a few days ago. All right, so if we do get a very strong push up here and then breaking through that 119.50, 120 zone, then I would be expecting an ABC back down, and I would be looking to especially take a long here and trade the third wave up. Also, we can look for potential downside on this particular push up here, the one that has weakness after a strong fall. All right, I'm looking a little bit too far ahead for the moment. Let's focus on this particular pattern. I think it's more relevant. So if we get a bullish break of that pattern, I do think there is a chance of upside. We have green fractals on the 1-hour chart indicating uptrend prices above the weekly pivot point. We have momentum here to the upside. So basically, we got to look at key levels like these fractals. All right, and I think if we get a break, pull back, continue, we might see some upside up to the R2 here around 119.40, 119.50, which is the 50 fib as well on that higher time frame. On the 4-hour chart, we see that the ECS MACD is showing thick blue lines. That's indicating momentum to the upside. We had a big wick here. So I think there should be a break to the upside in the euro dollar and a move up to probably R2, although it could be maybe a push up to the R1, a bounce, and then that continuation up to the R2. So specifically maybe that pullback after the break I think could be the most interesting one for the euro dollar. Now, what if this is a false break and price starts to break below this bottom? Of course, in that case, yes, move to the S2 is possible as well. Doesn't seem likely at this point, but definitely keeping an eye on that as well. We did break through this support trend line, but price, however, went sideways. But if we get a break, a re-break, yes, that fall down to the S2 is possible. S2 could still be a bouncing spot because this could turn out to be a bigger triangle like this. This could be an A, B, C, down for D, up for E. And that could be very likely, actually, if it is a wave 4, that would totally fit within that expected price pattern, and we could see that wave 5 to the downside. So therefore, we have to be very careful for S2, weekly S2 around this bottom because of that potential for a wave B. All right. Otherwise, I don't think much to add at this point. I think that let me renew this template so I can see the weekly chart just a little bit better here. Yeah, a break of last week's high still seems likely. It doesn't have to be this week necessarily, but I think that's a decent chance that it will break to the upside here. Either, well, today's Thursday, either today or tomorrow. That's the end of the week already, in fact. And of course, over the weekend, we'll have a new video. Let's take a look at pound dollar. It's pretty much the same. It is looking like a bull flag, just like the euro dollar, and that is a bullish formation, in fact. So we could see an extension of the correction to the upside, right? This could be one wave, this could be a second wave, and up we go for a third wave. This is one swing, this is second swing, this is third swing. It's probably, if we label it, probably going to be an A, B, C. And we did, the pound dollar did break below the support trend line, but the price was very choppy here, hooked back, bounced at the top, moved back down, bounced again, looking very choppy. So ultimately, I think if price, yet again, breaks above the weekly pivot point at the trend line, we got a potential for R1, move to the R1 and the R2. And if we put a fib on the daily chart on this particular wave 3, then price could go up to about 135, maybe 136, depending on how you fib it exactly and where you think that the wave 4 is, because this is probably still a wave 4. Keep in mind the price is respecting pretty shallow fibs. The euro dollar already went up to the 38. Pound is probably more closer to a 23.6 fib. So if it does break the bull flag to the upside, then the next target is actually the 38, which is a pretty shallow fib still. And pound dollar could still easily be in a wave 4. And the euro dollar might not be. All right. So anything like 135, 136 could be the target for that bullish break to the upside. It is becoming a little bit more likely if you look at the daily candle time patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days not breaking this bottom. So, from this perspective, an extension higher would not be so strange at this point. And we got momentum on the MACD2. So price would really have to break below the S1 in my view, below 133, because it is potential head and shoulders here as well, although the red shoulder is quite far or quite long. But a break below the S1, yes, then we might see continuation down to the S2, break below the S2, we might see a move down to for a lower low. But doesn't seem likely at this point. Dollar weakness, I think, is in the advantage, although overall the patterns remain choppy on the dollar, and I think that this weekend we might get a little bit more info again. But considering the bullish weekly candles, yes, a break of the high for the moment, for the next 2 days, I think is more likely, and we'll review, of course, the new charts a few days from now. By the way, a breakout candle, I think, on both the euro dollar and pound dollar would be a good one. If we get some kind of good candle like this above it. And here too, on both of these time frames, because this is a counter trend breakout still, I think that from this perspective, pullbacks are likely. So we get a good breakout candle. I wouldn't be surprised to see some pullback here, pullback like this before we get a continuation. All right, more free analysis at elitecurrency.com. You can also try out our ECS start package, or of course, feel free to join our ECS live service where we show our analysis and our own trade setups. So wish you good trading above all, and talk to you soon. Cheers.